in the corporate sector as a hospitals.
Okay, I got it. But to be very honest with you, okay, networking is an essential part for internet for sure. But not only for internet, we are using it. Okay, basic understanding of why we need a network is that we want to share something. We want to share something with the other computer. Of course, that is what we are doing over the internet for sure. We are sharing something. Sharing means either we are accessing something from a web server of any XYZ company. Let's suppose we are trying to access a Gmail, or we are trying to access a Meta or a X. We are trying to fetch some particular pages from their web server, right? So that is what those servers are trying to share those particular files which we are in a need of. So definitely there is sharing is going on. If we gonna go for a history, if you remember the OSI and the TCP/IP model, we are talking about like early 70s, when the ARPANET, all those things, all those guys, they came together to a concept. Why not to have a kind of a system where we gonna share data? Because prior to that one, we have a computer. But what computer was doing that time? They are doing all those mathematical process and the kind of a calculation, and it is stored in single particular device. Okay, and if we want to transfer from that particular device to another device, we have a kind of a floppy drive or some XYZ drive or a device. With the help of that one, we are transferring data. So during that early 70s, what they decided and what they come to an idea, why not to have a kind of a technology, kind of a system where instead of using a device, we're gonna share those data with the help of our network. Okay, so then the IBM was the king from that time only, IBM was the leader. So IBM came up with their own proprietary technology. Okay, okay, we have this one. If you're gonna use my hardware, if you're gonna use X, Y, and Z kind of a component are our company, and we have a, like a 10 or 20 computers, it gonna give you kind of an environment where you're gonna share all those data as well as the devices. Okay, but that was a kind of a situation right now here with us. Like we can take an example of Apple right now, right? Apple, they are forcing you to use their jack, use the kind of socket which not gonna be compatible with the other, the Android phone, those kind of thing, right? So they have their monopoly that time. Then they said, no, 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 we should come to an agreement, we should come to a kind of a platform where we have a kind of a common protocol. We're gonna work over that one, and that if you are working with that particular common protocol or common model, every one of us gonna be able to share the file and folder, basically file and folder with each another. That is what the TCP/IP is, and still it is. Okay, still it is. That's the beauty of TCP/IP. Okay, of course, that's a very functional model we have. What the reference model we have? Reference model we have is OSI model. Okay. So when we are saying a model, what is that? Model is basically how these two particular computer which came together to share their data or share their resources, how they're gonna talk with each other. Okay. And they're gonna talk in the layers. Okay. So you heard about the TCP/IP and the OSI layers. They work in the seven layer, especially the OSI layer. Whenever we think in a seven layer. I'm gonna give you guys a demonstration the very next day. Okay, about this all these seven layers, how it gonna works. Okay, in the packet tracer, because few of you guys are still not having installed. Okay, so I want every one of you to install packet tracer, and then we will have this kind of a demonstration over there. Okay, so that was the thing. And if we are sharing all those resources within our company, within our same building, or within a very limited geographical location, we're gonna think about the recent, the office setup you guys having is a LAN, right? So there, what the devices you need? A kind of a hub. What the devices you need? A kind of a switch. Hub is a very stupid device. Very, very stupid device. What this device is giving to you guys, that multiple device will gonna come together and they gonna talk to each other. But when they are talking to each other, there is no limitation, there is no boundary when they're gonna talk to one another. There is no kind of a protocols working in hub, Hub basically is a layer one device to, okay. And why we are saying stupid? Because hub doesn't know anything about the layer 2, about the protocol or anything. You can't manage hub actually. Okay. So the intelligent device again it works at in the LAN environment is the switches who understand the map, you know, who understand the map, where the lot of devices. And let's suppose I few of you guys can correlate with me if you guys are working in industry that you are having a switches, okay? Maybe the catalyst switches, 3560 and the above, and the 2960 series switches. So those Cisco switches is having a lot of ports, right? Lot of ports means 24 port, okay, 52 port, 54 port, those kind of ports they have are having, right? So all those devices who are connected to those particular ports will be able to communicate with each other, right? But why we are saying intelligent? Because they understand the protocol now. They understand the MAC address now. Okay, every one of you must be aware of this MAC address. That's a physical address, right? So our LAN card, each and every one of you having a LAN card, some kind of a LAN card or MIC card with you. Okay, even if you are having a mobile phone, they are having a physical address, the MAC address with you guys. Okay, so this MAC address, they understand, the switch understand, the hub doesn't understand that one. Okay, so basically, switch we are using in the LAN environment. When we have a multiple LAN, when we have a multiple LAN, when we have a multiple LAN, so those multiple LAN, if we want to communicate, like for an example, I was giving you guys an personal, incidents what my friends share with me, few days back regarding this UAE environment where the nuclear power plant having the other parties. So there you have a multiple company they are working there. Okay, so one company is having their in the within the same premises they are having, let's suppose one floor is occupied by the one company, another floor is occupied by the another company, and all the companies having their own rules, set of kind of regulation for their company, like they are having a very different branch departments and the department heads, right? So each and every different land, if they wanted to communicate with each other, what the technology we have, for an example, let's suppose I gonna share with you guys uh, this image. uh, every one of you can see this image, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So Uh, this image is basically like most of you guys are the very young guys, okay? So you guys are playing a lot of games, right? How actually the games works, you know? Yeah, so you are shooting to someone, how actually works, and you are playing with your friends. Let's say here I am, and here is your friend. So how they are playing it? There are centralized servers somewhere, maybe on the over the internet. This is internet, okay, right? But finally, when you are playing, what you can see, either if you are having a very physical connection, you are having a switch with you, or in your company, or in your premises. Okay. If you are having a Wi-Fi connection, maybe then there will be instead of switch, there will be a access point there. Okay. And for the security purposes, you have a firewall to just filter a traffic, whether those traffic are allowed in your company environment, yes or no, those kind of things. And from there you have a fiber modem, and from there you can go to over the internet. Basically this fiber modem gonna be provided by the ISP, all your internet service provider. And then you can see these there are lot of routers are there. Okay, and from this router again it will go to another of your friend who is playing with you guys, and they are having a similar kind of a setup. Okay, so what I'm trying to say here is there are lot of devices working behind this one. The switch, when we talk about the switch, always we talk about the LAN environment. Okay, when we talk about, when we want to communicate with the two very different LAN or two very different network, definitely we need a kind of a device that is having a L3 capacity. L3 means layer 3. We're gonna go in very soon what these layers are. Okay, so we need either a L3 switches or a router to communicate with a very different network. Okay, and then firewall, I already talked about this firewall, that we need a kind of a gatekeeper. We need a kind of a device which gonna monitor whether what kind of a traffic we are going to allow, we are going to not allow, or we are going to permit it, we are going to deny those traffic, right? Those kind of thing. Okay, and by the way, uh, from the industry perspective, there are low to mid-size company, they are not using even the router now, because the recent firewalls, um, one of our audience today, they said that they are using a Sophos firewall, the Palo Alto and the other 14.8. Those kind of firewall is having a routing facilities also. So if the company size is not very huge, not a very humongous company, they are not investing on this particular router, by the way. Okay, because these days firewall, next generation firewall is having the facility of routing. So instead of buying a router, they are going to invest in firewall, and they are going to get the facility of this security as well as the routing facilities also. Okay, but if your company size is big, you have a lot of internal networks, definitely this firewall is not going to be very helpful there. They need a router devices. Okay, the access point, every one of you are heard about this one, every one of you have encountered this access point in your life, be it a free Wi-Fi provided by any of your service provider, be it a free Wi-Fi, you're gonna get it either in hospital, the airport, or the any a public spot anywhere. So these internet these days we are getting it, those are mostly from the access point. Okay, so we're gonna uh, whatever the devices we can see here, apart from the hub we are not going to use it in our life. Just for an intro part, I give you guys a kind of what is this hub is, where we gonna connect the multiple devices together. That's the only thing. Multiple, especially the LAN devices, the multiple uh, the PCs and the switches we're gonna connect it with this one. So, but this hub is not using anywhere. Okay. So these 4 devices we will have the practical over our lab session. Okay. And the next day we're gonna cover the very essential parts of the OSI and the TCP/IP model, and from there onwards we're gonna go for the very first hands-on experience, how this actually two computer communicate with each other, and then we're gonna go for the LAN part and the WLAN part. And that's it from my side today, guys. And if you guys have anything again to share with me, you can go ahead. And every day our time will be the same. 6 o'clock sharp we're gonna start. Okay, in Nepali time, and Indian time is 5:45. And accordingly, wherever you guys are, just adjust your time accordingly. Okay. So that's it from my side, guys. If you guys have any query, you can ask here, as well as we have our own WhatsApp group. You can give your questions and suggestions there also. Yeah. Yeah, Noel. Noel, you want to say something?
Yeah, I was asking about the drive link for packet tracer.
Okay, sure. I gonna after this session gonna end, just check our WhatsApp group. I gonna share there.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Yeah, that's it.
So in the firewall of router, can we configure it as per our own set of rules and regulations?
Sure, sure, sure. That is what, according to our rules and the company policy, only we are going to configure on router. Sorry, the firewall. And from the firewall point of view, again, as I told you, the security in itself is a very, very vast topic. Okay, so if you, we're gonna see how much I gonna cover it. Otherwise, in EVNG, we can do, I have very good hands-on experience over the FortiGate as well as the Palo Alto. I haven't worked too much on Sophos. Okay, so I gonna give you guys the perspective how it works, and maybe we're gonna have the labs hands-on over that one also. But most probably we're gonna focus around the CCNA part where we don't have a firewall implementation. If there is something called firewall implementation, we are doing in terms of access control list ACL. That is called ACL. Okay, not the actual firewall we are using in CCNA part. Yeah, yeah. So I think that's it, guys. So thanks for having me. See you tomorrow again then. Bye bye.
Thank you, sir, for your time.